Hi, I'm Emily, and this is No Expert, and today we're making focaccia. This is something that I make a lot. I love it. There's a lot of different ways to make focaccia in the world, but this is mine. If this isn't how your Nona makes it, tell me how she makes it. I want to try her recipe. This is not a fight. This recipe itself was really developed from 3 different recipes that I tried and then that I liked, but felt like, you know, one offered one thing, one offered another, and I thought, this is how I do it, and then when I kept doing it, I thought, I should tell you about this, so why not? I love bread. Bread can be intimidating. Focaccia is a pretty simple bread if you're new to breads, and it tastes really, really good. So if you haven't made bread before, this is a great place to start. If you have, this is my recipe and I hope you like it. Let's get to it. So the first thing I need to do to make my focaccia is make a little pre-ferment. So pre-ferments are something that is fairly typical in bread baking overall. It's not always done for focaccia, but it's something that you see for, say, baguette or ciabatta, and sometimes for focaccia too. Pre-ferments sort of exist on the spectrum of stiff to liquid, and then can either use this kind of like commercial yeast, or it can use sourdough. So if you're a sourdough person, you could absolutely use some of your sourdough starter instead of either the yeast here or instead of this overall if you really wanted to. So a pre-ferment is great because it adds a lot of complexity to the flavor and the smell of your dough, and it can also add to your elasticity and make it a little easier to work with super wet doughs. The only bad side of a pre-ferment is you do have to do it basically a full day before you want to make bread. So it's something that you have to think to do ahead. But once you do it, it's very easy. So let me show you what I do. I have a packet of active dry yeast, and I'm going to use all of this over the course of the recipe, but I'm not going to use all of it right away. I basically want to do about 1/3 of this package, or about 2 grams if you actually have a scale. So I'm just going to give it a little sprinkle, and then I'm going to add 75 grams of warm water. This is 1/3 of a cup. And 75 grams of all-purpose flour, which is a 1/2 cup loosely scooped, so like very light in there, it's not packed. And I'm just going to give this a little stir until it comes together. And it's basically just going to be a little paste here. And then I am going to cover this with cling wrap, and I'm going to leave it out for like 12 hours. You can go as little as 8 and as many as 16, I would say. Beyond that, I would definitely put it in the fridge. And less than 8, honestly, it'll probably be fine. You just might not get the full effect of the pre-ferment. So that's it. Easy, right? So like, and then it's like, oh, I've committed to making bread tomorrow, which is kind of nice. Kind of nice. And worst case scenario, you could totally leave it in the fridge an extra day if you didn't want to make bread the next day. Or you did, but then like something happened, because that's life. Da, 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 da. Yeah, pre-ferment made. I'm just going to leave this on the counter and it should bubble up. And after about 12 hours of sitting at room temperature, my pre-ferment is nice and bubbly. It smells kind of like banana bread in a nice way. It smells fermenty for sure, yeasty. We know that yeast is working, and it's time to start making my dough proper. To do that, I'm going to take my pre-ferment, slop that on in there. I'm going to add my yeast. So I'm going to use the rest of the yeast packet. If I can open it back up. Some warm water. And I'm going to add about a teaspoon of agave. I'm using agave just because it's what I have, to be honest. There's no wrong answers. You can use honey or you can use just white sugar. Anyway, so about like 10 grams or a teaspoon, just a couple of squeezes, if you will, of agave. And I'm going to give this a little stir. Stir, stir, stir. This is 330 grams of flour. So I'm going to put the rest of my flour in. I'm also going to put just like a scoot of olive oil in at this point. Just like a teaspoon, like that much. And then I'm basically gonna like act like I'm a bread hook in a machine. I'm just gonna stir this all until it comes together as a nice wet dough. And I'm just gonna let this rest for 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna stir some salt into it, and then we're ready to start kneading. Now, as you can see, after just a few minutes, this is already puffed up a little bit, and I'm just going to add my salt. So you don't want to add salt too soon, just because it can slow down the yeast's growth, or it can even kill it. So we know that the yeast is definitely working, and we're going to add about a teaspoon and change of this baking salt. I'm gonna just give this a stir. All right, wet my fingers and knead. And then the best way that I have found to knead dough this sticky is get your fingers wet. And then what you're gonna do is just like kind of grab it and fold it, grab it and fold it, grab it and fold it. You can go around the corners as if you were like a clock, and you'll eventually develop gluten. Okay, so here's the deal with kneading this dough. You have two options. One, you can just knead it for 5 minutes right at the beginning and then let it rise overnight in the fridge. Two, you can have it at room temperature for the next 3 or 4 hours and knead it for like a minute or two every half hour to an hour. I just do it based around whatever TV show I'm watching. But you just come back and you just give it like a little lift, fold, lift, fold. All right, so I'm gonna cover this with a towel and I'm gonna come back in half an hour and knead it again. And then I'll do it again. And then I'll do it again. And then I'm gonna pop it in the fridge overnight. And then we'll shape our focaccia. All right, and look at this. This has really risen. I had this in the fridge overnight, and now it's ready to have its final rise, which I recognize there's a lot of rises, but this is how I do focaccia, and I find it makes a really nice focaccia, and it's easy to do, and you can do it too. So here we go. Final rise, I'm going to move it into this lovely pan, deep pan. So I'm gonna coat this with olive oil. Really get that everywhere. And thank you as ever to García de la Cruz for providing all the olive oil you see on No Expert. Thanks guys. Some of the other ones from the brand are a little more expensive, but this one is relatively affordable and works well for applications like this. Okay, so we have our gorgeous giant ball of dough. We're just gonna get this all in here. Make sure we got it all that we can. Don't want to waste any good future bread. I'll roll this around in the olive oil, flip her over, and that's gonna make it a lot easier to handle. So now I'm gonna just like spread it out as best I can. But this is probably not going to like fully reach the edges yet, but it will as it like expands again in its last rise. Once it's stretched, give it one final flip and that'll help it too. I'm just gonna like dimple it with my fingers. Just sloop, sloop, sloop. All right, and then I'm just going to take a towel and let this rest for another hour or two, just at room temperature, not in the fridge, because we wanted to really get a good rise. So my focaccia is almost risen and ready to go in the oven. The last thing I need to think about is toppings. So there are lots of really great ways to top a focaccia. Some of my favorites are with roasted garlic and rosemary, with Kalamata olives and Calabrian chilies, with tomato and anchovy. I think there's a lot of really wonderful flavors. You could do fig and honey and a little cheese. You could do prosciutto and burrata, maybe some balsamic or like a balsamic reduction. I'm getting away from myself, but the point is focaccias are delicious and there's a lot of good flavors out there. For today, I'm gonna make something close to one of my favorites, which is I'm gonna do Calabrian chilies and Kalamata olives. I'm gonna add some nice little cherry tomatoes just because I have them in the fridge and I want to use them. I'm going to use what I have. I'm running low on Calabrian chilies. I've got lots of tomatoes right now, so I'm thinking Kalamata olives, cherry tomatoes, and Calabrian chilies. And then I was thinking, this is nice, but I wish it would be spicier. So I'm thinking that I might add some of this Malaysian hot sauce. It's like sambal, basically. It's made by one of my friends here in Queens. This is a company called Mama Lambs. This is their old branding. But I am a fan. I'm just a fan. So this is made with sunflower oil, shallots, garlic, dried chili peppers, salt, and shrimp paste. This is something I really like. It's very spicy, and I think it'll add a nice little kick. I think you could also absolutely add any sort of chili crisp if you wanted to do what I'm doing. If you have a favorite chili crisp, it doesn't have to be sambal. All right, so let's see how this guy's doing. Much more risen, as you can see. It's really sort of puffing up. While this sort of finishes puffing, I'm gonna just top it. And I forgot to say the most important thing. So I need to put just like a little more olive oil on top. I know it seems crazy, but I swear to you, it's gonna like suck up all that olive oil. So we just wanna like really get like an extra layer on there. All right, I'm gonna just like get in there with my fingers and give it an extra dimpling. Make sure it's good to go. That's beautiful. And I'm just gonna start decorating it. So I'm gonna pop some cherry tomatoes, just like getting my chilies everywhere, and then just start sort of distributing my olives. And then the last thing I'm going to do is get some of this chili oil out, or is get some of this Just get some of this chili sauce out. Give it a nice little stir. And there we have, wait for it. All right, and there we have my stunning focaccia. Look at this. Ooh, ah. Oh, yeah, she's looking nice. So I think this is about ready to go in the oven. I'm going to bake this at 450 for like 20 to 25 minutes. I definitely don't want it to burn. I'm looking for just like a golden brown, beautiful golden brown. Oh, away we go. Ah, that looks nice, right? I think so. It smells amazing. I just need to put a little bit of flaky salt on there. So we're just gonna sprinkle some flaky salt on. And let's slice this thing and see how it turned out. It smells so good. I cannot recommend this combination enough, but it remains to be seen how it actually tastes and how it looks inside. So let's find out, right? Let's find out.
Hey pals, coming in with a quick do as I say, not as I do science of baking note here. This recipe as written is basically perfect. It makes a high hydration dough that you'll need to wet your fingers to handle, and it will be sticky. You might be tempted to add flour, but please don't. So this loaf you're seeing here, I used bench flour at one point instead of wetting my hands because I thought that the dough was even stickier than usual. And the resulting loaf was drier and breadier than the focaccia I usually make. Magic of editing, here's what the inside usually looks like. Both are perfectly excellent focaccia, but for me, this second one is a real winner. So try to resist the urge. And if you don't worry, it's super good.
All right, let's try this focaccia out. This looks so nice. I'm just gonna like rip a piece of it off. Get my pieces that just fell off. Oh, good. The flavor of the toppings plus the flavor of the actual bread. A little bit of crunch on the bottom and on the top. Soft and fluffy in the middle. It's pretty nice. Nice crunch on the bottom. Here, let me show you the color. And you see all that olive oil like shine? It's beautiful. You can see where like the chili oil kind of soaked in a little bit along with some of the olive oil. It's flavorful. The toppings are like juicy. So it's just like, it's a song in the mouth. What can I say? It's a melody on the heart and a song in the mouth. This is a really nice loaf of focaccia. It's easy enough to make. It tastes great. The crust has a nice crunch. The inside is like fluffy, moist. It's got a lot of like little air bubbles, some nice big ones. I feel like this was a very successful loaf of focaccia. The toppings are juicy, they're salty, they're crunchy, they're spicy. I'm very happy with this. And I'm gonna come to your house and make you make it. I'm just kidding. But if you want to, you can. Recipe's down below. All right, so that was my focaccia recipe. It is chewy, it is crunchy, it is salty, it is like unctuous and delicious, and it is bread. I highly recommend making it. The recipe is in the description with measurements both by volume and by weight. Let me know if you make it, let me know if you have any questions, or, you know, if you have your own focaccia recipe, I want to hear it. Tell me what you do in the comments that's different. I'm into it. This is also a very tasty bit of bread. I recommend it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more like this, you can always like and subscribe. Thanks again for being here, and I'll catch up with you later. Bye-bye!